In this tutorial, we're going to make the spoon for our coffee cup.
Right, so now we're going to make a spoon to go with our coffee cup and saucer. So if you open your last file and it looks like this, what's happened is if you just opened it with your last render up. So all you have to do is press escape and it'll bring you back to this view here, and then we can proceed. I'll just press 0 to come out of camera view, and what we're going to do is make our coffee cup spoon. Right. Just one thing, if you've place your 3D cursor, which is here, what you can do to get it back in the dead center is hold down Shift and push C, and that's done. I do that a lot. Now select the coffee cup and just zoom back in with the full stop on the number pad. So I'm back in the middle in the right spot. Now I'm going to make sure I'm out of edit mode, so I'm in object mode here. And then I'm going to push Shift and A, create another circle. Now I need to push T, make sure we've got 10 vertices. And the fill type, what are we going to do for fill? Let's do an angle again. I think that'll be good. Drag it out to the side so we can see what we're playing with. This is going to be the spoon part of our spoon. So press Tab to go into object mode. Zoom in, full stop on the number pad. Now, I'm going to push I to inset. About there. That should do it. Right, now we're in vertex mode, so Control Tab, just make sure you're in vertex mode, or select it down the bottom here in this one. So now we're going to create some extra geometry here. Select those two vertices and push J to join them. Select these two vertices, push J to join them. And that's one way to create the geometry. Now, to make sure everything's connected properly, what I like to do is drag it up and make sure all of the faces move with it. Because sometimes those things won't join when you do it certain ways, so it's just good to make sure. I'm also going to remove the floor. So up here on the right, top right, I'm just going to push the I so I can look underneath and just make sure everything's right. So to undo that movement I've done there, I'm going to push Control Z. There you are. Make sure that's flat. Now, with this across here and this here, I could push F to draw a line too. But the problem with that is it only creates a line and it doesn't create the geometry. So if I, for example, move it up, it hasn't connected to this line, to these two lines. So we want this line to be joined to this line here. So that's what I mean by making sure everything's connected all the time. So there's two ways of doing this. I'll just Control Z to get rid of that. So you can push K. K is a knife tool. So if I click on that vertex, it'll show up like that. If I just, you can see what it snaps to a vertex. That's just what I'm showing. So with your knife tool here, here, all the way to here, see how it's creating vertex there? click on that, push the spacebar, and that makes that line happen. So now they're all joined. But again, there is a quicker way. The knife tool is good for creating your own shapes. So if you wanted to knife a shape, you can do whatever you like, that's fine. But just to show you, there is a quicker way. If you just want to make a straight line across a heap of things, push J, done. Just be aware the knife tool is very handy for doing the same sort of things. Now, that was a bit long-winded, but anyway, that's done. Now, it's a bit sort of round and big for a spoon, so we're going to press A, then A, select the whole thing. I'm going to scale it in, so push S, Y, because we're going to scale on the Y to bring it all in sideways, until what you think a spoon shape might look like. Scale the whole lot down a bit, but we can do all that later anyway. I want to scale on the Y, because I just think out slightly might be good. But anyway, that's fine. Now I can do this in vertex mode, but I'm going to change to edge mode anyway. Because what I'm going to do is extrude out a handle. So push E and X, because it's just going to be on the X. And then extrude out something that you think is going to be suitable. There. It's about the right handle size for a spoon, I guess. Now, in my opinion, not having a reference image, which generally speaking you should always have a reference image, spoon would sort of bend on an angle, but it would also match the contours of inside here. So we can manually just pull these down, control, select all the edges, control shift, sorry, to keep selecting all those. So just make your spoon shape like that. Just to whatever you think is going to be good. Now it's time to sort of add the handle, make it a bit more interesting. So you can change the shape of the handle and do all sorts of different things. So I'm going to push A to clear that out, push Control and R. Make sure your mouse is up around here and it will give you that edge. And you can put a few edges in. So I'm going to do 3, I think. Now I'll do 4. Push Enter twice. Or push your left mouse button twice. Left mouse button twice. There's just various ways of cancelling and applying this, so experiment with those and see how you can mess them up. It's great fun. Right, to do my handle, I might go into vertex mode because this is just a bit sort of simpler. Because if I scale this, it's only scaling between the 2 points. So it doesn't matter how I do this. Because I just want to make this smaller. So if I push S for scale and pull it in. Ends up like that. And here's a good trick. If I change the shape of this too much and I want to drag it up, I can push G for grab. But if I push G again, this is what I want to do. It actually only slides it up and down. So you can do that too. You change the shape however you like. So it just slides it along the edges. It's called edge slide. I'm going to scale those two in. Whoops. So you got to hold down Shift, obviously. If I look at the keyboard, I realise I just hold it and push down caps lock, so that wasn't working, obviously. So scale those two in. Something that you might like. So you just have to bear in mind that how it's going to look when it's subdivided and smoothed out. So that's not too bad. I'm going to edge slide this one, so push G twice. Up here. I'm going to Control R. I'm going to create some more geometry up here. And if you accidentally move it and you don't want it, you want it exactly in the middle, push on your right mouse button and it'll just go in the middle. It'll cancel that moving part. So this is where we can push S to scale and Y to make sure it goes on the right axis that we want. Just to create some interest at the back of the handle. Now this spoon's got no detail. It's going to be quite boring. So what I'll do is create some more interest. I think, obviously you haven't planned this. I'll alter some things afterwards, actually. First of all, I'll do Control R here. This is creating a lot of geometry. So I'm going to create 4, 5, 6, and enter without moving it. Oops, I have moved it, so I can push the right mouse button. That puts it in the middle. So I want to just create some ridges on the top of the spoon. So we'll go to edge mode. Press A. Select. A bit tedious. Clearly I haven't selected the right amount of edges. So what I can do, go to face mode and select faces. This might end up with a better result anyway. Yeah, looks nice. So now I'm going to push I for inset. Inset all those, just enough. And we're dragging down a bit. Just so the spoon's got some ridges on it. Yeah, I might just drag some down like that. So another way of doing it is you can push E to extrude, just drag it down a bit, and then scale each face in. But I'm not going to bother doing that. I'll see how that looks. I'll push A to delete that. Now I'm going to put a modifier on, so over to the tools, add a modifier. It's going to be solidify. In this case, it's remembered what we used for something else. But I want a thicker spoon. Yeah, about like that. So if you're happy with 0.026, type it in, experiment with it, see what you want to do. What I'm going to do is apply that. So I've got to go into object mode, so push tab, push apply. Now there's our spoon. Push Control 3. That puts it into subdivision surface. Now, obviously it looks a bit weird at the front. Those ridges don't look terrible, I suppose. They're not the greatest, but that'll do for our spoon. You see these lines here. That's from adding that extra geometry. What I might do is press smooth. Didn't really get rid of much. Push tab. So what we can do is get rid of some extra geometry that we've created here. I'm going to push on C. It's going to give me a circle. Make it small enough. Now select all these faces. And then right click to get rid of the circle. I'll push X and go delete faces. And do the same underneath, which this is the underneath because I've just removed all that geometry. So push C. Just select all those. Just going to rebuild that part of the spoon because it's a bit, it's not good. So if you accidentally select some more things, what you can do is hold down Shift and then go over it again. That does the reverse of selecting. It deselects. So right click on your mouse to get rid of that. Push X, delete faces. And now we can just rebuild that part of the spoon. So what I'll do is get rid of the vision of that subdivision surface. I'll push the I. Go to edge mode, Control and Tab, edge. I'll select this face. Push F. Oh, this line and this line, I mean. Push F. This line and this line, F. This line and this line, F. Do the same underneath. Looks like I ruined it a bit there, which is fine. We can rebuild it. So to fix that up, we're going to have to create some more vertices. I'm going to go into vertex mode. You can face this one. Push F for face. And basically that's just corrected that geometry. Go into edge mode again. Hold down Shift, and so you got those two edges selected, and push F. And these two, or you can select the whole thing, F. We just got to do the end of the spoon. There we go. Spoon is rebuilt. Now there might be a bit of an issue here, so we're just going to go look at that spoon with all that geometry coming like that. It can give us a bit of an issue with all those vertex ended up like that. So we'll just have a look. I'm going to out of edit mode. So it's created a bit of silly goings on. I actually don't care. I think it looks okay. But I will fix the back of this spoon up to a bit more what I want. And so I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm going to select this whole edge and shrink it in a bit. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to edge loop it. I think that'll be better. So Control-R, left click, so you can just slide it, bring it down, all the way down. You can go right on top, it's fine. And then apply that with the Enter key or the left mouse button. So where am I? Here. So spoon. That's okay. Just making sure that's not too terrible. Oh, look at that. It is terrible. Go into edit mode. Sometimes what you need to do is push A, select everything, go down to remove doubles on the side here in the tools menu, and it says remove 0 vertices because you might have some doubles. That's why we're removing doubles. So go a bit higher, and it says remove 31 vertices. So we'll just have a look at that. Generally sometimes removes the weirdness because you've created doubles. I think we've still got an issue. Go a bit higher. No. So what it's doing is removing our ridges. So I'm going to Control Z, put them back. I'm going to try and fix this up here. There is something weird going on. So we'll work out what it is. I'm going to push Z to go into wireframe mode so if we can see what's happening. Can't see a damn thing. Now, you wouldn't worry about this if you're only going to take an image from the top. But I am going to worry about it. What I'm going to try and do is, I can see, yeah, there's a problem there. So you can see there's one edge going along there, but there's also individual edges. So this edge here is a bit in the way. So I'm going to push Control X, sorry, I'm going to push X, dissolve, X, dissolve. It's not dissolving. I'm going to have to delete it. That's going to cause bigger issues. But this is okay. We'll deal with them. I just have to rebuild the spoon. So now what I'm going to do is push X and go up here to delete edges. After I Control Z, everything back down there. So now X, edge. So that's going to fix our geometry up. And it looks as though it might not have been that bad in the first place. If I select this edge here, and try this out, so we'll face that up. And it looks like it's solved. No, it doesn't. It hasn't solved it at all. It's being a troublesome troublemaker. Might come out of, just show that. I'll undo that. Right, so our face is not there anymore. Select all of these edges. And then this one edge, this edge, this edge. Push F. Should be problem resolved. Basically, you can see something there, but that's not an issue. And I'm still not concerned about the top. However, I probably should be. So this will happen a lot when you're building your own models. Edit mode. I know it does exist, that same problem. I'm sure it does. I saw it before. See that sort of edge thing happening there? So what we can do is X edge and see how it didn't ruin the whole thing. So I'll just hold down shift and select everything. Now that's all going to be faced with F. Let's have a look at our subdivision surface. Okay. So when you're making your own models, it can be frustrating, but you have to work out what the problems are if it doesn't look right. Because it actually can cause huger problems later on. Huger? I'm sure that's a word. If not, I just made it up. And that's okay. So you can apply this if you want to, but I tend to not apply the subdivision surface just in case you want to change it later on. If you apply the subdivision surface, your model, you'll be having to try and alter this sort of geometry. This is the wireframe view if you hit Z. So that's too much work, impossible to do. Right, so now we're going to put our spoon on our saucer. If I hit 7 on the number pad, gives me the top view. Push G and grab the spoon and put it sort of roughly where you think you'll have it. And then rotate around, see if it's going to be in the right spot. Put there, push R to rotate. Okay. Now that's the front view of the cup. Now I've pushed 1 on the number pad to do that. If I hold Control, push 1 on the number pad, it gives me the other side. So I'm going to rotate the spoon down to where I think it's going to sit. Now I want to rotate it because it'll be sitting in the saucer on an angle. Now push G to grab on an angle and just bring it in there. I'm going to push G and bring it down. So G and Z brings it on this up and down axis. And I want hold down Control again and then rotate the spoon out of the saucer. Just to the point where it looks like it's actually in the saucer. Go to Control 1 again, rotate it up a bit more so I can drop the spoon down. So the further away your mouse is to the side, the more accuracy and leverage you've got on rotating it. If you were here, if your mouse was here, you push R to rotate, yeah, it's a bit hard. But if it's out here, it's better. I don't think it looks too bad. Okay. So we've got a spoon. Looks a bit dull and boring, so what we're going to do is give it a material. Go into materials, new, and we'll use the principled shader, I'd say. This is just, sometimes the principled shader is just really good and easy to make. A metal material, for example. Basic color. Give it a sort of dark grey. Yeah, dark grey. That's metal, so we'll give it metal. And just see how that looks. Control Z. So we can control this later on. It's not got nothing really to reflect against also, so that can be half of our issue. I might bring their floor back too. See what. No, that doesn't really help us. Sometimes getting rid of things like the floor is good when we're doing sort of rendering like this. Just so it doesn't take up too much of the blender's power, the computer's power. Now, what we're going to do is put a HDR map in the background. That'll give the spoon something to reflect off. That'll create some interest as well. So go to your world tab up here, and we want environment texture. Whoa, that's crazy. Open, get rid of that. Go to Interior HDI. You can download that into the description below. Double click. There you are. So it gives a bit more to reflect off. So let's go back to our spoon. So that's not too bad. You can see the HDR is reflecting on the cup as well. To see what, we can't see the HDR here, but we can in camera view. So you can do that by pushing 0. That's all where the reflections are coming from. If it matters to you, bring the floor in. Just get rid of that. Go back to the spoon texture. And increase the metallic of the spoon. Where's our spoon? I'll rename it spoon, so we know what's going on. Metallic is up full, that's good. Give it a bit more something. To make the spoon show up a bit better, you can also increase the roughness. But that does take away the shine of the spoon. Sometimes it's just a matter of moving it around to see how it looks on different angles. I'm going to put my spoon further on the saucer because that doesn't look right. So, I'm going to get out of that. drag the spoon on more. Might rotate that on Y, so R and Y. That's a bit better, yes. Now try and find an angle where you want to render it. We've got a bit of roughness on there still. I want a little bit. Let me get 0.05. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right angle so it reflects a bit more off things. The spoon section doesn't look really deep enough or anything, but you could of course remodel the spoon, take the spoon out, make a whole new spoon, whatever you want to do. I'm going to render it like this. First save it, then do a test render. So render, I might just render it at 100. Shift, Control and S. Hit your plus button on the number pad, push enter. And then I might get out of this. You can press Z twice or Shift Z to get out of that. F12. Render this. See how it looks. Well, I see that is a rather pathetic looking spoon actually. But rendering it at 100 actually doesn't look too bad. I don't think I'll bother rendering it a lot any higher. That just gives me an idea of the whole scenario. So you push F3 if that's what you want. Rename it. Enter. Push escape. If you didn't like your spoon, you could delete it. I'm going to come out of camera view. I just want to see if I can remodel this spoon a bit more. So this is what you can do if you don't like what you had. That floor's in the way, but I'll work with that. I select the middle two edges. And I select the whole lot actually. Let's see, we get Control plus all of those inside edges and bring them down. Just to give a bit more definition to the dish part of the spoon, the spooning part of the spoon. Have a look at that, how that looks again. Yeah, that looks good. Now, go into object mode and drop the whole thing back down. I'll have to re-alter that a bit. Control 1, R for rotate, put the handle back against the plate, saucer, camera view. Yes, I like that a lot better. So that's what modeling's all about, fixing your mistakes, then learning how not to make them in the first place. If you like it, F12 and render it. Right, so now I'm actually happy with that now. So sometimes it's just worth persisting to try and make it right. And if you're happy with yours, that's great. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.